PFL versus BELLATOR. Yeah, man, it was a great night of fighting in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season, I think, if not Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, man, it was a great show, and the things weren't looking good for the PFL. Uh, in my opinion, they did everything pretty soon. They wanted to make their money quick, fast. I don't know how the pay per view did, but it was a decent amount of fights. Yoel Romero, the legend of MMA, was part of the card. Thiago Santos Moeta, who arguably beat fucking John fucking Jones, the UFC heavyweight decking champion John Jones, and yeah, man, the call was great, and turns out PFL, man, uh, it was a bad look for them. To be pretty honest with you, why am I saying that? Cause obviously in terms of competition, turns out Bellator is still number two. Uh, of course, Bellator is still number two in terms of competition, and obviously the PFL got the money, and they bought Bellator, and they wanted to cash out as quick as possible. That's why they did this kind of show, PFL versus Bellator. They believed in their fighters, and turns out Bellator white fucking washed them 5-1. If you're scoring it on fucking the main card, right? And we're gonna talk about the drama that fucking unfolded. Francis Ngannou and Francis Ngannou and John Jones, the UFC heavyweight docking champion. Yeah. So what had happened was, the guy was asking some real good questions, and you got Chael Sonnen, been the guy, that is, Chael Sonnen, right? But he was not given much. He was not given much to say. But Chael Sonnen does what he does best, being a fucking company man. I'm just gonna touch on that first, cause obviously, Chael Sonnen fucking says whatever he wants to say. At the same time, trying to defend the main company that he loves and that he fucking actually works for, right? But he was working. I think he was working for ESPN, present in the fucking broadcasting table, and I'm starting with Charles Sonnen because he disrupted some great questions from the guy that was asking irrelevant questions that MMA fighters want to fucking know, and fucking MMA fans that want to fucking know, and Chael Sonnen gave him the credit. Yo, you're a great promoter, whatever. And so what? Now let's get back to the drama that unfolded. Francis Ngannou, John Jones. John Jones was asked a couple of questions. The first question was about what did he think about the PFL coming together with Bellator. Yes, it was great for the sport to see two entities coming together and making things happen. And now we know that Bellator is better than PFL in terms of competition. Let's put that out there and let's be real about it. And turns out Bellator is not given credit. Bellator is not given credit for what their competition actually delivers. As for the PFL, they disappointed big time. Only their heavyweight champion won the fight. And yeah, that is what happened. Now, he was asked about that, he gave a great answer. A lot of people maybe wanted to see that, but the PFL is still new. They got the money to invest in this types of events, and they did it. It turns out great for them. The ticket numbers, and how they filled the whole thing up didn't go as well. But give them credit for what a lot of people maybe kind of wanted to see. In terms of cross promotion and doing what the UFC has done, buying out competition. PFL is doing the same. We are not on that. So we move on. John Jones is asked about Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, and then he gives a great answer in the start. I'm like, he's coming great. He puts a but. He says, but he's rooting for Francis because of this and this and that. He counts all the reasons. He talks about his story. He fucking talks about him being fucking his MMA brother and rooting for him in that boxing match. Riyadh season, October 9th, Francis Ngannou versus fucking Anthony Joshua. It is going down in Riyadh season. It's gonna be a bang of a fight chaos. The fight is gonna be fucking chaos. And guess what? He says he's rooting for Francis, but if he had to bet, he was gonna bet against Francis. Francis is gonna lose that match, according to him. Because Anthony Joshua did this since he was a fucking young boy. That is straight up facts, right? He spit facts. You can't be mad at that. But he's not supporting his MMA brother. At the end of the day, that's his opinion, And he was also asked about what fans wanted to see. Obviously, he was fucking PR, fucking trained for that question, for that type of question. He was like, there's a lot of fucking fights that MMA fans want to see. There's a lot of fucking fights that combat sports fucking people want to see. And he said, the Tom Aspinalls of the UFC are there, and the hardcore John Jones versus Stipe Miocic want to see that. Come on, nobody wants to see that. MMA fans are not that sharp. MMA fans don't give a fuck. MMA fans don't care about Stipe Miocic, because he got brutally fucking finished by Francis Ngannou, and he hasn't fought in almost 2 years after a fucking horrific knockout from Francis Ngannou, and he was talking about those 3 fights, and he said. And he fucking put Tom Aspinall first. He was like, Tom Aspinall, that is happening. Tom Aspinall versus who? Versus Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. That's what people want to see. Because obviously the UFC has the numbers in terms of selling tickets and shit, And a lot of people talking about that fight. And yeah. And then he moves on to Francis Ngannou. He said he was gonna beat. He said he was gonna beat all 3 of them. Before saying that, he talks about his resume speaking for itself. Guess what? You've been a bad right? Right? And to be real, obviously your resume speaks for itself. Saying you don't have an L in your fucking record, that's a fucking farce. You have an L in your record. You got disqualified. You broke the rules. Like you have done your whole fucking career. Taking fucking steroids. Smoking cocaine before fights. We're not on that, he talked about that, and he talked about how people, know who's the real GOAT. Obviously, you the GOAT, but in terms of heavyweights, we've got one heavyweight king in the world, in the MMA world, and that's Francis Ngannou. And that is Francis Ngannou. Yeah, that's Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou did what he was supposed to do leaving the UFC. Now he's signed with the PFL, and Francis Ngannou actually responded to John Jones saying he was gonna beat all three of them. Obviously, when he mentioned Francis Ngannou responded saying, "In your dreams, and you fucking fat." That's what Francis Ngannou said. And I'm telling you, man, that was a great response, cause obviously he was sitting with Mark Tyson. Mark Tyson is a bad fucking influence to Francis Ngannou, man. He fist pumped him when he gave that fucking great fucking answer. At the end of the day, John Jones didn't hear, but he saw the actual quote in the let me say on Instagram, and he responded, when did Francis Ngannou become such a dick? Fucking fat shaming people. That's what John Jones replied on Instagram in a post that was posted by ESPN. So yeah, man,